Yeah, that's what I've heard. Is Mass Effect 2 is much better. But yeah, it was a story that sold ME1. I mean, it had a lot of that kind of like build your own character and choices kind of thing, which I really like. Like KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 both do this. Icewind Dale, you know, they have that whole like your choices matter. Player agency is what they call it. And I really liked that about Mass Effect, but the game itself was just such a slog to even try to play. Alright, Becky, let's go. Let me smash. Well, okay, 2 out of 3 fell asleep, so never mind. I care greatly about dungeon design. It's one of my major complaints about game design in general. How well a game's dungeons are designed directly affects how much you're enjoying the game. Because like, if you like think about Final Fantasy 13, that game got a lot of flack because of how people refer to it as a quote hallway simulator. But the thing is, the game is less of a hallway simulator than games like FF10, which were greatly received. Like, no one calls that game a hallway simulator, but it's far more linear in scope than FF13 is. And that's because of boring dungeon design. They failed in the dungeon design aspect, and all the dungeons are very boring and bland. They're just like randomly garbage-generated hallways. So like, that matters a lot to me. It's about immersion. It's about the level of effort that the developers put into the game. If you have very lazy dungeon design, chances are the rest of the design is going to be pretty lazy too, you know? It shows that you didn't care about your game as much as, you know, you should have, maybe. And I think that's an important aspect of game design for that reason. Up. Princess, thou art now free. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Yes, I am free now. That is true. But Honk found nothing! Yay! I thought for sure that guy was just like, I will do nothing until I see that the princess is freed or something like that. And then I come back here and he's just like, yeah, what's up? That's whatever. Maybe there's something in the swamp. I've heard most of the people have said that that around here have said Outer Worlds is fantastic. But I haven't played it for myself, so I can't really say. But it's also like a indie studio and everything, so I mean, I feel like there's some forgiveness there. Surprised by zombies. I guess that makes sense. Outer Worlds, Obsidian. I thought it was an indie studio. Is it Obsidian? I've heard it's a hell of a lot better than any other Fallout type game, though. I've never really been interested in Fallout, though, so I'm not incredibly amped to like get in on that, you know. Or care to learn about it too much. Say something important! Damn it. Seriously? 4 isn't enough? Wow. Okay. 4 MP isn't even enough. That's surprising. Whoop. I think you put some dots between. I can still read it. Here's a question: do you put a dot between a word? Do you feel that procedurally generated dungeons have a leg up on the average pre-generated dungeon? Obviously, the best pre-generated dungeons, Persona 5. That's not. Oh, that's pre-generated. That's actually not the best pre-generated dungeon. Will always trump simply because of the random element, or do you consider that to be a detriment to level design? Pre-generated. Oh, he used the T word. Yeah. Pre-generated is always best, but it requires more effort and like design intelligence and ability. Like, you have to know how to design a dungeon. Are you kidding me, dude? You gotta know how to design a dungeon. You gotta put a lot of effort into designing it. So pre-designed, like, or pre-made, made by the developers instead of it just being procedurally generated is always better. But again, yeah. Also, I wouldn't say Persona 5 dungeons are even anywhere close to the best dungeons. Unless you mean with Persona 5 what they did is they ran it through dungeon generation software and then like fixed it up a little bit. If that's what you mean, if that's what they did with that, and if that's the case, then that's actually pretty good. Because the Persona 5 dungeons were pretty decent compared to like Persona 3 and 4. But like Persona 3 and 4 are just procedurally generated dungeons, which are very hard to get through in some cases because it's just very repetitious and boring, and just because it's random each time doesn't make it good. It makes it less good, actually. Yeah, the P5 dungeons are static. Yeah, I know. I think they're okay dungeons, but I don't think they're the best, anywhere close to the best. You got games out there that have fantastic dungeon design. Yeah, there's a few non-tartar sauce dungeons that are like little tiny blips that are not pre-rendered or procedurally generated. But yeah, exactly. Yeah, randomly generated? You mean a randomizer? No, it's not a randomizer. I guess we'll get a level up or 2 or 3 or something because we're still getting our butts kicked. I mean, of the Persona games, Persona 5 definitely has the best dungeon design, for sure. Like, beyond a shadow of a doubt. That much is very true. 3 one-step encounters in a row? I mean, I'm about to grind, but still I want to go to the higher level monsters! Dang! Oh my god. And of course half of them run away, so I fireball all of one of them. Thanks. Thanks, piece of shit game. Asshole jerk. Are you kidding? Just wasting my time with these lower level encounters. You don't like randomizers? Well, I do play randomizers from time to time, but mostly FF4. But I haven't in some time. I usually just play vanilla playthroughs. Original release, usually, if I can. On original hardware, of course. What do I look for in a dungeon? Okay, this is what I think the best kind of dungeon design is. A dungeon should feel like a lived-in space. You know what I mean? Something that exists in a real life situation. For instance, here's a good example. I use this example a lot. Karazhan in World of Warcraft is one of the best dungeon designs ever. Because it feels like a tower that somebody would live in. You know, you walk in and you're at the stables. You go into the service entrance first, you know, kind of thing. You have your dining area, your ballroom, and it all connects. And it's kind of a wild ride through it because of like all the magical sort of corruption throughout the tower. But it gets crazier and crazier the higher you get to the top. And it's just a really, really interesting design. It feels like a lived-in space. Another example is FF7. Most of the dungeons in FF7 are actually relatively small, but they're all places that feel like they would exist in a real space. Come on. God, what the fuck is wrong with this game, dude? This is a mean-ass motherfucking game, dude. I can't even grind without everybody dying. It's crazy. I can't even grind without everybody getting focus fired and dying. It's so frustrating. I can't even kill a random battle without freaking the 3 defense character getting 5 attacks in a row and dying. It's so frustrating. DQ1 wasn't even this mean because you only had your 1 character, so your low defense characters couldn't get focus fired because they didn't exist. Just like, frickin' heck, man. I can't catch a break. But yeah, when I see a dungeon that feels like it makes sense in a real space, or at the very least in the context of the world that it's built in, you know, for instance, like Temple, not the Temple of the Ancients necessarily, but the city, the Lost City of the Ancients in FF7 isn't even a dungeon really, but like it's kind of doesn't make sense in our world, but it makes sense in that world. You know, it has a lot of stuff to it. There are little houses, there are little paths that go to different houses. There's a lot of clutter on the ground. There's a lot of like texturing. Well, it's actually 2D pre-rendered images, so it's not texturing, but you know, you get the point. It's like, it actually has life to it. And that's the most important aspect of dungeon design to me, is making it feel like it's a place that could actually exist in the world that you're in. Persona 5 dungeons aren't necessarily less preferable. I think the Persona 5 dungeons were okay, but one of the problems with Persona 5 dungeons is they have the whole, like, everything is a flat path problem. The game was meant for PS3 and PS4 era. There's no excuse to having, like, perfectly straight hallways and floors with little to no texturing to them at all. You know, kind of, like, the dungeons were a hell of a lot better, but, like, there's no, like, terrain variation, you know? Like, you gotta have something that's a little bit more inspired, you know? And it's and they kind of lack that a little bit in Persona 5. But it makes sense in the context of the world that they're in. So it's not like Persona 5 is bad dungeon design, it's just kind of okay, you know? Honk! What's up, Chrono Crash? Hey, Bards, thank you for 10 months of Twitch Prime. How was Zestheria's dungeons? Generic. Much like Berseria. Generic. Just random tile set with generic texturing. Throw in some tiles and copy pasta them until you have a dungeon-sized map. The early dungeons of Berseria were pretty okay, though, but then they just kind of repeated tile sets and stopped caring about the design. I should probably heal her. Oh, my damage did go up. 32. I hadn't seen anything over 30 before on her spell. So maybe there's a spell stat. Honk has been promoted. Power by 4. Hit points by 1. Why are my levels so bad? My level ups have been so bad. At least, I think they've been bad. That does mean Alani has a level up pretty soon, though. And I did say I wanted to get her to 7 before I started going off. Although I have no idea where I need to go now. So that's kind of a problem. Yeah, I'm getting totally screwed on HP on my level ups. Just in stats in general, like no speed, no imp. Well, he doesn't get MP, but yeah. No backseating, please. Do not offer advice or any kind of backseating stuff. I just heard you say go somewhere, and I was like, nope, nope, or saw you rather. I like to play games. I like to have a pure experience. That means I don't like to be given advice or told what to do or how to go somewhere or how mechanics work. And I don't read guides, and I don't look up stuff. So I played a really shitty game for 100 hours because that's just the way I like to play games. I played a game called Ephemeral Fantasia on the PS2. It's the worst game I've ever played. And I played it for 100 hours, and the game sucked. But because I like to have a pure experience with video games, I had to sit through a lot of garbage. Oh boy, Alani got a power. You know, I'm really second guessing my choice to grind when my levels are like one stat. Oh man, like I don't think this isn't helping me at all. This isn't helping me at all. This is not getting me anywhere. You want me to play Unlimited Saga? I heard about that being a very bad game. The best part about Ephemeral Fantasia was the absolutely horrendous battle visuals, like the UI. And it had this scroll, it had this combat text that took up like a third of the screen, and it was just really, really ugly. It was like, you know those like old screenshots you see of World of Warcraft with like the completely cluttered, disgustingly ugly UI? That was Ephemeral Fantasia's battle screen. The best part about Ephemeral Fantasia was that it ended. Yes, I can confirm. That was the best part. Why do we always talk about the dumpster fire game? Because it comes up a lot. I don't know. That's just the way I like to play games. Here's the thing, Fenor. The thing is when I get told how to do something, or I get told where to go, I don't feel like I played or beat the game. I feel like the accomplishment of and the success belongs to somebody else at that point. It doesn't matter if I did 99% of the game and I learned 99% of the game by myself. If someone told me something, I just feel like everything can be traced back to that now, and my accomplishments and my success become irrelevant. It's a really frustrating thing. Granted, there are some games that I play with guides in mind, or like mechanics that I want to learn and understand and will research them, particularly MMOs. But those games are all about min-maxing and you know, collaboration with the community. So to that end, you know, I think it's part of the experience. It's weird, but whatever. It's just the way I do it. Princess of Moonbrook is my waifu. Such square pixels. Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Arceus, for the God tier resub 30 months in a row. Thank you. And there's a lot of viewers that think backseating ruins the experience too. Yeah, I'm of the same mind. There's a lot of streamers that I absolutely love as content creators, but they encourage backseating, and I can't watch it. I can't. I just can't. I get so frustrated watching like know-it-alls sit there and chat with their freaking Google foo, telling everybody what to do, how to do it. Oh man, it's infuriating. I can't watch that. And I would put it on like theater mode or something, full screen it, but then I can't do my other browser stuff. And then they'd still respond to the backseaters, you know. Nah, Finn, you like mechanical stuff a little bit, and that's fine. That doesn't bother me. Honestly, there's some advice that I like to be given when playing games, but it's usually like very niche stuff, like what button opens the map or something. The problem is that if you open up the door, you get problems. You know, you can't open the door up any. As soon as you open up that door, problems. So I just don't. Let's try to explore, see if we can get somewhere. Have I given the magician his high five yet? I don't know what you're talking about. Hi, Tigranath. I didn't say hi back to you when you said hi, Zik. I'm sorry. Hi, I saw that, but I forgot to say hi back. Best girl route of Senran Kagura. You know, that's what I should have done. Is I should have made Senran Kagura the sub incentive during the Fiesta. But now that the Fiesta's over and the multitude of sub gifts have come and gone, we're down to, wow. Ooh, wow. A really low sub point value compared to where we were during the Fiesta. Oh, wow. Well, sub gifts last a month, and if people don't continue the sub gifts... I don't know about that, Gunarm. I've seen enough Senran Kagura stuff to know that I don't think I would really care for the writing of it. This is different. Oh, it was that tower with the wind cloak or whatever they said was in it. Hey, Carrie, thank you for the 5 months of Twitch Prime. More sub points. Getting back up to where we were. Senran Kagura Fiesta. Yeah, if I wanted to murder my channel, I would just do a Senran Kagura Fiesta. You hate missing permanently missable stuff? Yeah, I can understand that for sure. Well, this was just where the mirror was. I can totally understand missing permanent, but you know, the way I see it is like, if the game is based around getting the permanently missable stuff and you can't beat it otherwise, it's a shitty game, you know? So, I mean, if I miss some stuff, I can manage, I'll work around, I'll figure out a way to you know, to get through it still. Space Ninja Samurai Dr. Oni-chan! What? Why did it do nothing? I take it easy, Chaos wins. What a cool battle. spell was blocked. I cast spells on them before, that was fine. Have a good night, Amos. Thanks for hanging out, dude. I don't think there's a way to go up here. Yeah. There was a way to the east that I had to retreat from, that I was going. All right, failed to run away. Time to die. I should just return and then full restore, and then I can start from the town again and go east from there. So I'm already half gone on resources. Goodbye. You're going to die soon. See if the townspeople say anything. Lottery ticket, no. Oh, bad I do, actually. You know what? I should do that. Lottery time, baby! Let's go! Let's... Oops. Blah, 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 blah. You lose, Smile. As a consolation prize, have another lottery ticket. Won something. The medic. Thank you, Eagle Falcon, for the 110 bits. Yay, I feel so blessed. $360 blaze it with that medical herb, though. Oh, hi, Q. You bring good luck of medical herbs? Thank you. Do I prefer FF1 style of magic, where you have a limited amount of times per cast, or the MP system? MP system. Limited cast is just... It's so limiting, because, like, as you advance in the game, you need more powerful magic in order to get through it. And by limiting your charges based on spell level... Like, it's not D&D, you know? D&D high-level magic is completely busted in OP, and you need to limit it because of that.